Hello everybody, Cobra here. Welcome back to the chopping block where I review my custom painted neutrals. Today we have Argentina, one of the ABC powers of Latin America or South America, and I'm pretty happy about these guys. These were actually some of the first neutrals that I painted, and with all of these neutrals I've since repainted them, as my skills have gotten better, as I get newer pieces, but they're definitely pretty nostalgic as they were my first power to ever paint or first neutral power. So first up, we have the infantry, and some of you may be able to notice these are World War I Ottoman Infantry. So as you can see here, we got the neutral flag on the bottom, and a pretty heavily dry brushed infantry, but I definitely like the camouflage scheme. I thought that these infantry went well with the World War II Argentinian uniform. So they look kind of like a different pose for the Germans, which I like because the Argentinians were definitely very heavily German equipped. So as you can see, a few more infantry that I painted up are just full-on out-of-box German infantry that I had some spares of, so I decided to just go Argentinian with them. And the reason that I have a decent amount of forces for my Argentinians is because of the South America at War expansion. There's a lot that can. Argentina already has a decent little setup, but also with the South America at War expansion set, there's the ability for them to go to war with Brazil. So there's definitely some reason to have some extra units just in case people decide to lend lease to them or the Argentinians actually build some new units. And as you can see, I've just concluded the infantry class units. So getting into some of the other land class units, we have a Argentinian light tank. No real historical precedent behind this. They really didn't field many tanks during the lifetime of from World War I to World War II, but I have it nonetheless. I think this is a Polish 7TP light tank. One of my favorite units is the Argentinian medium tank. Now, this is just an Canadian, I think, Ram tank, but it looked a little bit like the Argentinian medium tanks that were made in, I think it was 1942. They started building their own, which they were probably the only South American nation, or the first South American nation, to start building modern MBTs. And I think it was called like the Nauru medium tank. They built about 10 of them, but that was one additional thing to the setup that I decided was that in 1942 the Argentinians get a medium tank. So, and also during South America at war, the Germans might, lend lease them a medium tank. And I decided not to get rid of them, but when I had originally painted these neutrals, I had just painted up some Panthers for the Argentinians. So they're still painted up just because. So they actually have quite a large tank force in case that ever happens. Here we have the simple Argentinian fighter, just a P-41 Mustang. Now, I haven't looked at this one in a while, but I do notice that it probably needs a little canopy detailing, but still a nice little fighter to go on the board. And lastly, we have the Argentinian Navy. So first up, we have the great Argentinian battleship, the Rivadera. This is, for those keen of eye, this is just a Ganget class, and if it were an actual Rivadera class battleship, the turrets would be offset. So this turret here would be off to the side, and that central turret would be off to the side. But it looks pretty decent as a Rivadera class. So I don't know why that's got a little bit of yellow on the... Oh, wait, yeah. That's just to represent some gold detailing on the back of Argentinian fleets when I was looking at the fleet camouflages. But you can see they've got a nice dark gray deck. I really like the lifeboat detailing on the back and all the turrets, which have the little lifeboats sitting on top of them. Black nose, as usual, to represent battleship. And yeah, really nice looking piece. I still need to get a flag. As most of you know, I put flags on all my battleships or capital ships, so still need to get that on. Nice Argentinian flag. As you do see this in the South America at War expansion. Next up, we have a coastal defense ship. This is another addition that I've made to the game. When playing the South America at War expansion, Argentina does get a battleship, but they also did have quite a large coastal defense ship force. So here is the coastal defense ship. Don't know the name or class of the Argentinian model, but this is a Japanese, I think it's like Tsushima class pre-dreadnought that I 3D printed a while ago. So just have been using that to represent the Argentinians. Next up, we have a destroyer. This is just a Japanese World War II destroyer, but looks pretty nice as a painted up in the Argentinian light gray and dark gray. And lastly, we have the Argentinian torpedo boat destroyer, representing some old World War I and before era torpedo boats and patrol boats. And yeah, just a great tip to represent that. And yeah, overall, this is a 1914 cruiser, just for those of you wondering. But that concludes the Argentina painted pieces. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to comment down below on what powers you would like to see next, as that is how I usually decide what to put out and what you guys want to see. Consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys again. Cobra out.